This program is a collaboration of personal opinions and individual free thought. It does not represent the views or narrative of the mainstream corporate media hacks. Viewer discretion is advised.
And here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Welcome to the Break the Bell podcast.
Hello, beautiful bell breakers.
Tonight, we're talking about aliens.
Yes.
Not the illegal. Are they?
They might be.
I mean, are there laws against extraterrestrial aliens?
Well,
I mean, we haven't. Well, I don't know. Maybe they're.
I would imagine if there some leeway for ones coming from Mexico, their leeway coming from
You would think
Saturn.
there'd have to be quite a bit of it. Yeah. Saturn? You think they come from Saturn?
No,
Really?
no, that's a gas
I was
giant.
gonna say
Mars.
obviously Mars.
Different dimensions. I don't know.
I don't know what we're gonna get into. Like most of what we talk about is speculation anyway, but
Right.
we'll get into like our speculation. But where do you think? Do you believe in aliens?
I don't.
Not
actually.
like at all.
I mean, I'm open to the possibility of it.
Why don't you believe in aliens?
I just haven't seen enough evidence that is really like.
Of all the shit we talk about on this show, you're like,
I know.
oh
I
yeah,
know.
that's definitely a
Well,
conspiracy.
no, not. I don't know. I just again, it seems. It just seems like it's a convenient like distraction point.
Well,
from the
obviously,
government. So
obviously, there's the distraction element of aliens, but
But-
you still
and-
don't think there's a possibility
No,
that
no,
somewhere out in
the possibility exists, but and I believe in the possibility of it, but I do not. I believe in ghosts, but I do not believe in aliens.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I guess. I mean, let's get scientific here. There's not enough evidence to support the claims of aliens, but ghosts are definitely real.
But again,
Ghosts.
I'm open to the possibility of it.
Ghosts are clearly real because of all the evidence that's stacked up there.
I have
ghosts.
seen ghosts,
You've seen okay.
so
All right.
I have
All
not
right.
seen aliens.
All right, fair enough. I'm sure there's a story there. Maybe we'll get into it. So if in fact aliens do exist, do you think they are from like another physical planet that we can like spot with the telescope, or do you think they are like some other dimension of like out there somewhere?
I would say
like Stranger Things style, like the upside down.
I would say that's
You think that's more likely the case than see, I can't even like wrap my head around like aliens being on another planet, let alone like, oh, there's
Right.
dimensions stacked on dimensions. And if you like, which I don't read enough comic books to
Right.
really understand the whole the multiverse and
Right.
shit like that. Where
but to be honest, it's getting the multiverse thing's getting old because like everybody's doing
well,
it.
yeah,
now. So
DC's doing it now,
Marvel's
Marvel's doing it.
There's
Everybody's
there was some other thing that I was watching and they were talking about some kind of multiverse. I'm like, are you freaking?
well, they're
kidding me?
just preparing you. They're just
Well,
like
exactly,
preparing your
right?
brain for what they're about to reveal.
So I
next.
mean, I again, I'm open to possibilities, different galaxies, different universes. I mean,
different dimensions,
Different
okay.
dimensions.
and ghosts,
Right.
And ghosts apparently.
right, and Santa Claus.
Obviously, Santa Claus is real. Now we're talking aliens again tonight, so I had to bring along my Tom DeLonge naked bobblehead because we all know Tom DeLonge from Blink 182 is our
Yes.
resident alien expert. So I had to, in the true nature of this episode, bring him along. He's typically hanging out somewhere back here with the rest of Blink 182 bobbleheads, which you can't even. I don't even know if you can see him. Oh, you can see him down there somewhere. But yeah, he's hanging out with us. Because if we get off track with our alien talk, or if we're like,
He'll bring us back.
yeah, he'll
Okay.
kind of bring back to like the reality of what aliens are and aren't. So that's why Tom's here.
I'm down.
Apparently this week a whistleblower came forward. And this guy
Yes.
would know because he's former U.S. intelligence, so obviously he's going to
got
tell the truth.
a pretty good record, military record.
Yeah.
Like, he's a veteran, all that good stuff.
Derek Ambrose is here and says, yeah, you see all government committees involving ghosts. Yes, exactly. We don't have hearings involving ghosts right now, Bill. So
yet.
Yes. Sue Keller is here.
Hi, Sue.
Sue, how's it going? Sue says, my biggest question is why right now? Timing and distraction.
Exactly, Sue.
We're going to get into all of that. Like, why is this coming out now? Like, there was a 40-year stretch of mass UFO sighting, hysteria, obsession. Like, what would you call the 50s to the 90s of?
Yeah, I mean,
it was just like a general obsession with UFOs.
It was. You had the Close Encounters of the Third Kind. There was that movie in the 90s called Fire in the Sky, which is like this traumatic abduction thing. I don't know if you saw that. But still, it was to the point, where they'd make fun of it. Even Independence Day, it's like, they probed him,
Right.
So,
yeah. Well, you had the X-Files, right? 90s. You had was there an earlier X-Files?
Yes. No. That was just it in the 90s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we had all this stuff.
Yeah.
And but you got to ask, when that started back in the 50s, why then?
Right.
What was going on? Now I'm going to get into all this stuff. Why did all of a sudden everybody start seeing UFOs in the sky?
Right.
Well, part of it, again, we'll talk about this after this. This is the pre-show, and I'm getting ahead of myself. But did you ever go out and buy a car? Say you bought a Chevy Equinox, and all of a sudden you see Chevy Equinoxes everywhere. You never really noticed it before.
Yeah.
Well, is that part of it? It's you saw stuff you didn't realize you see, and then all of a sudden somebody points out, hey, there's UFOs, and then all of a sudden everybody's seeing UFOs.
I think
or is there something more to that, or more to the timing? And I think timing has everything to do with a lot of it. So
I agree.
We'll get into that after this pre-show. Again, the Congress, the House of Representatives took it upon themselves to have governmental hearing on aliens this week and regarding this whistleblower. So it must be important.
Obviously. They want you to watch.
They spent more tax dollars on these alien hearings than they did on discovering who brought the coke into the White House. So, so that's how you know it's important. Sue Keller says Coneheads. Oh yeah, I forgot about Coneheads. Mork and Mindy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mork was a freaking alien.
Yeah.
There was
Nanu.
a lot of obsession with aliens and
Star
UFOs
Trek
back then. Yeah, exactly. Star Wars, Star Trek, all that stuff. So we'll get into all that stuff. We'll get into these hearings. I'm even going to talk about what we do in the event of an alien invasion, because that's the most important thing.
Of course.
It doesn't matter if aliens exist if you don't know what to do.
You're going to be on top of the skyscraper with.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be like,
something like that.
It's so pretty. I just watched that. My kids just watched that movie for the first time last week. Oh, they loved it. I ended up falling asleep because I think it was the day after I had a wedding and was gone all night or something. Got 4 hours of sleep, and then turned on the movie for them that evening, and I was out. But they watched it till 1 o'clock in the morning. I think we turned it on 11. So
I might have to break that out this weekend.
It's a good one. Derek says ghosts brought the coke into the White House.
It was the ghost of Abe Lincoln. I knew it.
Then Sue Keller. Sue, thanks for jumping in the comments. We're usually just stuck with Derek all night, so we got several comments tonight. Sue says hippies and open-mindedness, Area 50. That is true.
That's true. Yeah.
And then on top of that, drugs.
Yes.
Lots of drugs in that time.
Yes.
I didn't even think about that. Lots of drugs in that time frame. Lots of LSD experiment.
Arms race.
Also, arms race. Also, a lot of CIA experimentation back then. So so much we could talk about, and we probably won't get to all of it, but we definitely got quite a bit to discuss with all of this, and maybe we'll convince Bill that aliens exist and ghosts are not real. So we're gonna get into the show here just a second. Before we do, I got to mention, check us out all over social media. If you are hearing us for the first time or hearing us for the 200th time, still go like and subscribe and do all that shit we tell you to do every single episode. You can find us on Facebook and X now.
Yes.
X.
The big X.
Not Twitter, but on X at the handle at Break the Bell Pod. We also have a Facebook forum called the Breaking the Bell Forum. So go join those and share them and like and subscribe and all the things that the kids tell you to do these days with social media, because maybe we'll attract the attention of the aliens. And because I'm pretty sure if aliens are monitoring us, they would be monitoring us through our social media,
of course,
obviously. So gather the attention of the aliens by sharing us with them. So maybe they'll learn a thing or two. Maybe they'll watch our podcast and be like, we don't want that. Screw that. We don't want anything to do with that. Otherwise, check out our website at breakthebellpod.com and get access to some kick-ass merchandise like our I Won't Eat Your Bug shirt. We need to have like a alien abduction shirt. That's going to be my next one. The We Are Not Your Pawn shirt. We got some merch, or some logo merch, some cups, some t-shirts, all kinds of shit. So check it out. Buy some garbage. Support us. And wear really cool stuff. So
that too.
We're gonna get right into this, or into this intro video, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about the alien hearings and aliens, and probably not ghosts, but
no.
Bill will keep going back there, I'm sure. So we'll be right back in just a second.
What did you say?
You talking to me?
What the heck are you talking about?
What did you say?
What did you say?
What did you say?
Are you talking to me?
Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
What are you saying?
What did you say?
Are you talking to me?
Well, maybe he was talking to me.
What did you say?
Talk to me.
What in heaven's name are you talking about?
Talk to me, baby.
Did you just say?
What did you say?
You listen to me? Are you talking to me?
Are you talking to me?
What the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
Music seems very appropriate.
What's that?
This music seems very appropriate.
It always seems very appropriate, whether we're talking about spy novels, X-Files. It's just appropriate music, so I just keep playing it. First, I guess let's get into, like, of all the pointless shit that we pay our government to do.
Yes.
Like paying the IRS to take our money from us.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty pointless.
Absolutely.
Like paying law enforcement to like kill citizens and like invade their homes and stuff. Like paying the salary of Congress to like
Get rich.
Well, yeah, to like cook the markets so they can get rich on stock markets, things like that. Of all
the
pointless
education system.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I mean, you can just keep going.
We could go on. The list goes on.
Have they done anything right?
But of all the pointless things that we pay our government and Congress to do, they're having a hearing on UFOs. Again, not even the first one. This is the second one in like 365
Well, they got a
days.
whistleblower this time.
Oh, no, a whistleblower, yeah.
That makes the world go round.
Obviously. They're like, oh, we wish this knowledge would have been here when we had our last hearing. We got to have another hearing.
Yes. Just for this guy.
Do you think maybe they could have vetted this guy first before calling all of Congress?
The sad part is I think they did. To the best of their ability.
Well,
like, do you have proof?
Like
no.
What's
okay.
it on what's it on like the court movies, like the like Suits or stuff like that, where they have like they call everybody, like the lawyers and the parties involved, into an office and they like ask them the questions before they bring it before the jury and stuff.
Right.
Like what is that called, and why didn't they do that? Like, you think they could have just been like, all right, what you got that we're gonna bring before the hearing? And he tells them, and they're like, maybe not like a full-blown congressional hearing, but noted. We'll bring it up at our next
I think they just got so excited when they're like, this guy, they looked at his record, they're like, hey, this guy must be legit.
I mean, he's a jacketed pilot. He flew in Afghanistan.
Right.
He was an intelligence officer.
Yeah.
And now he's a alien whistleblower.
Yeah. And well, and they probably saw it and then they're like, aliens, we're in.
Right. Like, all right, this guy, and he's intelligence. He's got to know something.
You probably have never seen this episode. I used to watch Glenn Beck a lot.
It's been a long time.
And he had a guy, he was like a senator or something like that, who said he had like proof against Obama for something.
Okay.
Right. And so he had him on the show and the guy was full of shit. I mean, basically he was just there to like get on camera. And you kind of realize this like within 5 minutes of him being on the show. And I feel like that's probably what happened.
Like every call into every talk radio station, it's just like, all right, you need like somebody like answering the phones for you instead of that's what this is like.
They got so excited and then they get them on there and they're like,
oh,
that's it, huh?
Oh, that's what you got to say. Okay. Derek says the CDC released a plan for a zombie apocalypse. Did you know this? Were you aware of this?
I heard they were working on one. I didn't know they actually released it. That's awesome.
Will the DoD release a plan for an alien invasion? I don't
think
know.
so.
I think they have to.
I mean, they got Space Force, right?
Yeah. What else is Space Force for except for planning for alien invasions? I mean, seriously,
probably the exact opposite.
Yeah, it's more for like blowing up its citizens from outer space. Right. That's more than likely it. So again, this is based around this testimony of this former U.S. intelligence officer.
David Koresh, is that his name?
Yeah, David Koresh.
Yeah, right.
David Garouche. Okay. Garouche is his name. I want to be open-minded with this whole thing.
Absolutely.
But first of all, this is, again, let me reiterate, former U.S. intelligence whistleblower. How many times do you hear of a former U.S. intelligence whistleblower making it alive to a public hearing?
Right.
Like where he can spill his guts about the secrets of the U.S. intelligence. Right. Like the skeptic in me obviously says this is some kind of like a distraction, like you were saying, or this is like disinformation being put out there, because this guy, if he is former CIA or intelligence, whatever, and he's like, you know what? I'm going before Congress with all your secrets, and we are going to blow the lid off this. He'd have 2 bullets to the back of his head immediately.
Or living in Russia.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But he would never make it to a hearing.
No.
So again, trying to be open-minded, but the fact that he's former intelligence and now he's a whistleblower, and he's still alive and in the country.
Unless they're like that. It's going to sound batshit crazy, kind of like a Amber Heard to Johnny Depp thing. You go ahead. You're an intelligence officer.
Dig your own grave, dude. Just dig your grave.
You do your thing.
Yeah, exactly. So now let's take a look first at this hearing. Let's pull this article up. This is from CBS News, and it says, UFO hearing key takeaways. What a whistleblower told Congress about UAPs. Why do you suppose they rebranded UFOs as UAPs? Is it to make it sound less like crazy?
I mean, you hear UFO. I mean, what's the first thing you think?
Crazy,
of? Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
crazy. Yeah. Or to maybe minimize the
crazy.
Yeah, a little bit, I guess. So it says a former military intelligence officer turned whistleblower told House lawmakers that Congress is being kept in the dark about unidentified anomalous phenomena known as UAPs or UFOs. I like how they rebranded it as UAPs, but every time they say UAP, they have to clear up that UAP is now the correct term for UFO. So
yes,
just say UFO.
Yeah.
Alleging at a hearing that the executive branch agencies have withheld information about the mysterious objects for years. Thoughts so far?
Okay.
Would that surprise you, though? No. If that was the case, would it surprise you that like intelligence or the executive branch was hiding shit from Congress?
Not at all.
But it also, like, I also got to think that Congress, if this stuff really is going on, Congress knows about it, and then somebody comes out and is like, we got to make this public, and then everybody in Congress is like, oh, here we go, crazy David. Well, let's just give him a platform.
But you would think, like, because it says executive, so you got to assume like the president's in on
exactly.
it, right? So, I mean, do you really think Joe Biden could go without saying, you know, like
Joe
be
Biden
like, holy
doesn't
shit.
even have the nuclear codes.
Exactly.
So no, he was not
They
informed.
give him ice cream and he shakes his head.
But from what like previous hearings have been, or like the previous disclosures, like you always hear about the president coming in. It's like, I want you to release everything you know on alien technology. So yes, it may be like executive agencies like the FBI and stuff, but I feel like because of every movie I've ever watched, they have to maintain that level of plausible deniability for the president. Well, that's exactly what was said on freaking Independence Day,
right? Nuking Houston.
I think that's the first time I was ever like made aware of what the phrase plausible deniability. That's the only reason I know the phrase plausible deniability is because of Independence Day.
Yes.
So thank you, Hollywood, for making me more intelligent.
Yes.
Derek says, once a Fed, always a Fed. I have to agree with that. And then Sue Keller says, to have you forget that the government denied or lied they existed for decades. Yeah. So let's keep going. Grush served as a representative. Oh, here we go. David Grush, who served 14 years as an intelligence officer in the Air Force and National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, appeared before the House Oversight Committee National Security Subcommittee. So this is the House Oversight Committee's National Security Subcommittee.
Huh.
That's a mouthful.
What's the acronym for that?
I don't know. HOCNSS. Yeah, something like that. Alongside two former fighter pilots who had firsthand experience with UAPs. So he's not alone. There's two other witnesses. U.S. fighter pilots that supposedly have seen these. With their
so that
own
makes
eyes.
it a little bit more
maybe a little more credible. Grush served as a representative on two Pentagon task force investigating UAPs until earlier this year. He told lawmakers that he was informed of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program during the course of his work. It says, examining classified programs. He said he was denied access to those programs when he requested it. So he was informed of it. So he didn't experience any of this program. He was just told that there was a program that went out and retrieved UFO crashes, and then they brought him back and tried to reverse engineer the technology. He was told about this. Didn't see any of it firsthand. Didn't see
he tried, but they said no, sorry. You're not classified. You're not cleared.
Well, but so he saw no like physical evidence, but just like the plane that hit the Pentagon, we don't necessarily need physical evidence to say that this thing happened. So my little 9/11 bash there. Let's see. He said he was denied access to the programs when he requested it and accused the military of misappropriating funds to shield the operations from congressional oversight.
And that never happens.
All the shit that he's saying, we can say that he's not lying 100% because he is honest about saying that the military is misappropriating funds.
And we believe that 100%.
Yeah. I mean, that's honest there, at least. At least he's got that going.
Yeah.
Let's see. He later said he had interviewed officials who had direct knowledge of aircraft with non-human origins, and that so-called biologics were recovered from some of the craft. Biologics meaning alien body parts, alien bodies, alien dead bodies, dead fingers. I don't know. At least maybe blood splatter, something from an actual alien. He made very clear that this was not human. It was in fact extraterrestrial, because the person that was like questioning him from the stand, one of the people up there on the subcommittee, was like, so you're saying biological? He's like, yes. And she's like, was it human? And he's like, definitely not, pretty much. So I don't know. But again, this is somebody he talked to who had direct knowledge of it. So a friend
maybe
of a friend
that guy
of a
got
friend.
perished.
Yeah, maybe. Members of both parties questioned how Congress should go about investigating the remarkable allegations, a reflection of the increasing willingness by lawmakers to demand the executive branch be more forthcoming about the phenomena. We're going to uncover the cover-up. And I hope this is just the beginning of many more hearings. Great. We didn't spend enough time
Yes.
and taxpayer money doing this not once but twice now.
Don't worry,
But
we're
we
not going
need-
to pay off student loans. That we're going to investigate the shit out of UAPs.
This is the new money laundering
Yes,
scheme
right.
here. Is
It's going
investigating
to
UAPs.
Ukraine.
It said Representative Tim Burchett from Tennessee. The UAP issue has gained widespread attention from Congress and public in recent years with the release of several video recordings of encounters which typically show seemingly nondescript objects moving through the air at very high speeds and no apparent method of propulsion. The Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, which Congress established to investigate the incidents, has investigated roughly 800 reports of UAPs as of May. While military officials have said most cases have innocuous origins, many others remain unexplained. Lawmakers say military knows more about the objects than has disclosed to Congress. Sue Go, a spokesperson for that All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, said in a statement that the office has not discovered any verifiable information to substantiate claims that any programs regarding the possession of reverse engineering of extraterrestrial material have existed in the past or exist currently. Very specific wording there.
Yes.
Haven't discovered any information to substantiate the claims regarding the possession or reverse engineering of extraterrestrial materials.
Right.
Is she going to say do you think she'd actually come out and say it if they had?
No.
Or do you think, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
But like you said, it was very specific, right? So maybe they tried and shit got blown up. And so,
All right. Because they have not discovered any verifiable information. So
yeah, that part wasn't in Oppenheimer about him finding that technology and using that.
There you go. So this is the other two witnesses now, the two fighter pilots. In addition to Grush, the panel heard testimony from Ryan Graves, a former Navy pilot who has spoken out about the encountering UAPs on training missions, and David Fravor, who spotted a large object captured in the now famous Tic Tac video. You remember that? It was like the cylinder cigar Tic Tac shaped video that's all over TikTok now. All three witnesses said current reporting systems are inadequate to investigate UAP encounters, and said a stigma still exists for pilots and officials who press for more transparency about their experience. So their whole thing is people are seeing these, but they don't have a way to report it because there's no reporting system.
Right.
It's like there's got to be some way you can report this. Like there's got to be, I don't know, like a generic report form or something.
Right.
Be like, check the box if this or other, and you check other, and you're like, a big ass alien spacecraft.
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be something.
And
there.
there's probably, a lot of skepticism, right? Like, be like, hey, Harry, we got another one.
Well, that's what he was saying. There's also the stigma that exists around it. It's just like, well, it's kind of like, I've been watching a lot of Sopranos, so there's going to be a Sopranos reference here.
Interesting.
The like the whole beginning of Sopranos is Tony Soprano starts going to a psychiatrist because he's like passing out and stuff, and they think it's psychosomatic or whatever. Well, he doesn't want them to find out because that would look like a weakness on his part, and he'll probably get shot in the head. And that's kind of similar to like, do you want to be the fighter pilot that reported a UFO?
Yeah, they'd ground you.
Yeah,
right.
They're like, this guy needs some psychological treatment, or
it's okay. We'll chalk it up to PTSD.
Exactly. Graves was an F-18 pilot stationed in Virginia Beach in 2014 when his squadron first began detecting unknown objects. He described them as dark gray or black cubes inside of a clear sphere where the apex or tips of the cubes were touching the inside of the sphere. He said a fellow pilot told him about one incident about 10 miles off the coast in which an object between 5 and 15 feet in diameter flew between two F-18s and came within 50 feet of the aircraft. He said there was no acknowledgement of the incident or way to report the encounter at the time. There's always a way to report it. You just write a memo somewhere and just report it. There's a way. He says, if everyone could see the sensor and video data I witnessed, our national conversation would change. I urge us to put aside stigma and address the security and safety issues this topic represents. If UAP are foreign drones, it's an urgent national security problem. If it's something else, it is an issue for science. In either case, unidentified objects are a concern for flight safety. The American people deserve to know what is happening in our skies. It's long overdue. So this goes on and on a bit. Then Congress gets into pushing transparency, like revealing and blah, blah, blah. I'll get into that a little bit. But tell me what you think so far of this guy, first of all, this David Gersh.
Yeah.
Or these two fighter pilots.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, him having the two fighter pilots, that does tend to add some credibility to what he's saying.
You would think, yeah, but who knows?
Right. Yeah.
Who really knows? Like, what's their credentials and everything?
Well, yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like, how honest to God are they, or are they experiencing PTSD or some psycho?
But I mean, could you imagine
symptoms?
The money that would go into, say, like, oh, we're going to devote a branch of the Air Force to chasing down reports and to investigating? I mean, that's another billions of dollars thrown on top, right?
Just pull out of all our money from Ukraine, and then we'll have billions of dollars.
And I would rather put it towards aliens.
I would
Ukraine.
too. I got like I have a video of this David at the hearing, if it'll pull up here. So this is David Gersh at the congressional hearings.
Me? Well, I'm Russell K. Sir. And after Nam, I got into crop dusting, and been doing that ever since. On a personal note, sir, I'd just like to add that ever since I was kidnapped by aliens 10 years ago, I've been dying for some payback, and I just want you to know that I won't let you down.
And
that seems very legit.
That's clearly the stigma that you would get if you were like in fact reporting this shit, or like a fighter pilot.
Right.
But it's also hilarious.
Yeah.
And it's probably more believable than whatever David Gersh was saying. Like, talk about this David Gersh guy. Talk about, like, had you heard about his biological findings, like body parts and stuff?
I read about it, and again, the first thing when I saw it, again, he looks very good on paper, but again, he just has nothing backing him up.
There's zero evidence whatsoever. It's all secondhand knowledge. And how often do you get a whistleblower that's 100% speculative secondhand knowledge?
Right. I mean, look at the whistleblowers. At least they usually have at least something on paper.
Yeah.
Right. Like, something that they stashed away that was supposed to get shredded, something, instead of just being like, well, I heard this and I talked to these guys over here and they said that.
And they were pretty credible too.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why aren't they on the freaking stand right now? Like, why aren't they the whistleblowers? Like, and what did they think about you coming? And I mean, if they're that worried this getting out to the public, what do they think about you coming?
Because they would be ones that would be dead.
Yeah, because they spilled the beans. Like, he didn't have access to that. He didn't have the clearance for that. So he is just, like, pretty much spilling the bar talk that these guys were like, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. Don't tell. Oh, I won't tell anybody. And he goes before Congress. He's like, this guy said this, and this guy said this, and they're like, God damn it.
Yeah, right. So you shouldn't trust that guy.
So do we take any of this serious though? Like, anything he's saying, like, do you buy any of it?
Well, like you said, I mean, you can definitely see the military, misappropriating funds for this, or for anything, to be honest, anything, and so, I mean, I can see them taking the money and maybe saying like, oh yeah, we're going to investigate aliens, and then like ship it off to Ukraine or whatever,
Right.
It's just hard to believe without any kind of hard proof.
Now, some of the things that article didn't get into that this David Gersh guy talks about, like, he's been talking about this stuff for a while now. Now, where did this article go? I got the wrong article up.
Oh,
shit. Let me try to pull this one up, because at one point he got into, like, accusing Italy of stashing a UFO back during World War II.
Okay.
Like Mussolini was stashing a UFO, and obviously, the U.S. got wind of this, and you'll never guess who told who tipped the U.S. off. You have any guesses who may have tipped the U.S. off that Mussolini was stashing a UFO?
It's going to be England.
It's not actually at all.
Really?
Not even close. Let's see if I can pull this up. My computer going, but we got to read this one because it's great. I mean, it's fantastic.
Because the Area 51 incident, that was in the 50s, right? So this would predate that.
Predates Area 51.
Okay.
No, Roswell, Area 51 was that Roswell was like 48, I think.
I thought it was like 57.
Maybe. I don't know. I thought I looked it up. Maybe I looked it up wrong. Maybe I failed at looking it up.
All right.
Maybe I'll just pull it up. I'll just read it from my phone. Y'all don't have to see it. It's just going really slow. This is from the New York Post. This is from June of this year.
Okay.
Same guy, though. Pentagon whistleblower claims that this entity, blank, helped the U.S. retrieve a UFO from Benito Mussolini. And you said it had to be England. It's not.
Okay. Hitler?
The Pope.
Oh.
The Pope tipped off the U.S. The Vatican tipped off the U.S.
Wow.
That Mussolini. No, you would. I wouldn't have seen it coming either. It says the Pentagon claims the U.S. has collected alien UFOs for years. Said Americans retrieved one such saucer from World War II Italian dictator Benito Mussolini after getting a tip from Pope Pius XII. David Grush, who's 36, an Air Force veteran and former intelligence official, claimed that the Vatican was involved in the first ever mission of America's top secret UFO retrieval program. Grush, however, did not provide any evidence for these claims. In 1933 was the first recovery in Europe. In Magenta, Italy, he told news station Sunday. They recovered a partially intact vehicle and the Italian government moved it to a secure airbase in Italy around 1944 to 1945. The Pope back-channeled that and told the Americans what the Italians had, and we ended up scooping it up, Grush said of the alleged post-war mission. The so-called whistleblower claimed that the Vatican was certainly aware of alien existence and that UFO sightings over Italy during Mussolini's dictatorship were widely known. Grush unfortunately had no solid evidence for his claim, saying the documents and data were classified, but that he should be believed regardless because he, quote unquote, says, I have credentials. I was an intelligence officer. So no, he doesn't have evidence, but we must believe him because of his credentials as an intelligence officer.
More than that.
Now, I did find that that there are documents that were discovered a few years back that kind of backed this up. This might be what he's referring to. And they were dated. They were like historians kind of dated the Ian stuff, and it matched that time era. And it did. It was like letters going back and forth from some channels. I think one was directly from Mussolini to this guy that found it or something. Because I don't know, but it kind of backs up what he was saying there. But he didn't have proof of that,
right?
And I don't know. It just far-fetched. It's hard to say far-fetched considering like all the conspiracies that surround the Nazis and UFOs. Have you heard of any of those?
I have not.
You haven't heard like Nazi alien technology? No, any conspiracy? Dude, I haven't been around me near
I knew they tried to find the Ark of the Covenant.
Derek Ambrose says the Pope has an entire secret library. They sure have evidence. They for sure have.
I'm sure if they're out there, the Vatican sure as hell has all that shit. They've reversed engineered it.
Okay, let's sidetrack for a second because I'm very disturbed that you don't have any knowledge of
the Nazi alien
connection. Now, have you ever heard of like the Nazis' interest in Antarctica at least?
No.
Okay, so apparently the Nazis were very interested in UFOs, and very interested in Antarctica, and a lot of people, conspiracy theorists, put the two together. There's some conspiracy theorists that think that the Nazis fled to Antarctica and just kind of like
set up shop
in Antarctica. But there's others that think that there was a connection between like aliens and Antarctica and like some portals.
I've heard that connection.
Well, that's why
I didn't know the Nazis were involved in it.
The Nazis were so like Hitler was so like enamored by Antarctica, which I don't know what proof there is about that, but that's why he was, because of the portal, like alien portals and shit like that. Well, apparently there's also conspiracy theories that the Nazis developed or like used alien technology or something were trying to develop it was a UFO / time machine, so they could like kind of go back in time a little and like reverse the course of the war.
Okay.
So I mean, there's all kinds of different.
Kind of the plot of the last Indiana Jones movie.
It was called Die Glock, I think they called it, but it was like this bell-shaped device that they supposedly developed with some sort of alien UFO technology / time travel technology.
Okay.
And the rumors have it that there was an SS colonel that traded it to the U.S. for his freedom after the war. Like he's like, if you don't kill me, you let me go free, I got something you might want here.
Okay.
So, I mean, knowing all those conspiracy theories, is it surprising that Mussolini might have his own UFO stash there as like use it as a bargaining chip in World War II with the U.S.? Maybe because Italy switched sides after a while, didn't they?
No, they never switched sides.
No,
so, no.
You sure about that?
Yeah, the people revolted and ended up hanging Mussolini.
Yeah, and then they switched sides to the Allies.
Yeah, right.
So they did switch sides.
But the government didn't really.
No, but maybe Mussolini tried to use that as a bargaining chip.
Possibly.
Maybe he's like, talking to Mr. Pope. He's like, Mr. Pope, if I go down, you're going down. Can you reach out to the U.S. and offer this as a bargaining chip? And Mr. Pope's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then he turns around. And he's like, this guy's fucking crazy, and he's got a UFO. So they came and grabbed the UFO and then sent in the NED to hang Mussolini.
Yeah, right.
I mean, this obviously
if they went back in the past,
you can't question this. This is history.
They have a time machine. Well, so Victoria Nuland went back
in time and handed out NED pamphlets and had Mussolini hanged, and then they got their.
That makes sense. What is there any proof that the Nazis were chasing after?
I don't know. It's just conspiracy.
Gotcha.
I haven't dug too deep into it, but I have heard it. I just know that there's Nazi theories about alien technology. There's probably Mussolini. Maybe Mussolini was trying to use that to get in good graces with Hitler.
Maybe
in better graces because he knew how enamored with alien technology Hitler was. He's like, I can help you out. I've got a UFO myself over here. And he's like, all right, let's do this thing. And then the Pope betrayed them both,
of course, because
as popes do. Exactly. I don't know. It's history.
Yeah.
Don't
right.
Don't stone me for this.
It wasn't history until
history.
Victoria Nuland went back and changed it.
Back and changed history. Yes. So there is, I guess, a possibility that maybe Mussolini knew. I mean,
sure.
Do you buy into any of this stuff? You don't even believe in aliens.
Oh,
it was ghosts.
But again, I'm open-minded. I'm open to the possibility of it.
But of all the stuff from history that you thought you knew and you turn around, you're just like, oh, that wasn't real at all. Would it surprise you to find out that Hitler was
not at all.
dabbling in alien technology?
No, because he was very interested in the occult.
Like maybe the aliens killed the Jews and Hitler was
maybe they told him to.
Maybe who knows? Who freaking knows at this point?
Right?
But I don't know. It's weird that this one, like you said, predates like Roswell, predates predates like the big push into UFO interest.
Yeah, way into it. Because when was the War of the Worlds broadcast? That was like 29.
I don't
30?
know.
So maybe that was a little bit earlier. But
I don't know. I don't remember. But anyhow, it's crazy stuff.
It is crazy. Yeah, I had no idea about any of that from Italy.
You're gonna go look into Nazi UFO technology tonight.
I am.
That's your homework assignment. Don't forget it. So yeah, this guy kind of got way off track there with the Nazi stuff. This guy alleges that was kind of the start of this whole secret
Okay.
Going out and retrieving alien technology and trying to reverse engineer. Now, would it surprise you that this SS colonel traded in UFO technology for his freedom?
No,
when you think of like Operation Paperclip,
right? Yeah,
where we brought Nazis here,
which is well known,
to work on freaking nuclear programs,
NASA,
rocket programs, NASA, space programs, all that stuff.
Yeah, and so maybe that's some of the reverse engineering they did so that they could try to get to the moon.
Maybe we only got to the moon because of this guy bringing this freaking space-time machine thing.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Possibility.
Like,
absolutely.
the more you think about it, the more you just talk through it. Like, I'm one of those people that talks until I get to my opinion instead of waiting till I form it to talk. So the more I talk about it, it's just like it just keeps opening up these more and more possibilities, and it's just like, I mean, I feel like we should be smoking weed.
I feel like we really should be.
What if the aliens were the Nazis, man? What if the Nazis thought that they were fighting the aliens, not
the Jews?
What if? Okay, I won't say that. What if they were the aliens? Okay, I will say it.
There are conspiracy.
There are conspiracy theories out there about that.
Yes.
Anyway, so did you buy anything this guy's saying? We see that there's possibilities that the things that he dabbles in. Yeah, I could see that being true. Yeah, I could see
right.
Definitely
every
see
part
the CIA.
Of it, I could see a thread of truth through any of that.
I could see quite a bit of like the CIA has a secret UFO search and rescue team.
Well, you look at all the shit that the CIA has dabbled in.
Right.
I mean,
Mind
why
control.
not? Right. Time travel.
They dabbled in like tearing open the shreds of our universe into parallel universes.
Yes.
They've dealt with all this stuff.
Yeah.
So, of course, the CIA has a secret.
Yes.
A secret UFO retrieval program. Have they retrieved any? That's the real question.
Right.
But they have the program there. They have the search team there to look for them in the very least.
Maybe all the UAPs or whatever that people have been seeing is just the CIA trying to reverse engineer what they found back in Italy.
Yeah, maybe. There's a possibility. There's definitely possibilities there. Do you think Congress bought this? Do you think
Yes.
You think so?
Yes.
Why do you think so?
Because I think they want to. They so badly want to.
We live in such a freaking different time right now.
Yeah.
The post Q phenomena, I would definitely say yes, Congress believes it, because you still have several Congress people up there like Marjorie Taylor Greene that still like hangs on to Q's words as living, breathing like truth.
Yeah.
Like some of the things she says even today, it's just like, dude, that's like come straight out of Q, obviously. I'm not saying all the stuff she says isn't
right.
There isn't I mean, I like her because she has the balls to just unapologetically spew conspiracy theories, and that's my type of governmental worker.
Keeps people on their toes.
Yeah, exactly. So excuse me. If there's a Congress that has a Marjorie Taylor Greene on it, obviously there's a Congress that believes the shit this guy is throwing down.
Yes.
On the other hand, again, there's a good chance this is a lot of smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
Down to even the members of Congress.
But Republicans are never going to, and any politician that's there is never going to verbally come out and be like, yeah, he's full of shit. I mean, the guy's a decorated veteran, right?
Well, yeah.
So, I mean, they're gonna kiss his ass, and he'll probably show up at the Republican National Convention with the pillow guy. So, I mean, it's just
all this guy had to do was to convince a Republican Congress is say, and Joe Biden knew about it. They're like, oh shit,
yeah, let's get him
conspiracy
down here now.
And Hunter Biden was at the helm.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's all. If he wants the Republican-led Congress to believe it, that's all he had. He just had to throw the fact that he threw cover up by the executive offices. They're like, oh, it's Joe Biden. Fuck Joe Biden. That's all. I mean, that's all he had to say. So yeah, of course. I mean, they're going to now use this as an impeachable term for Joe Biden. We should impeach him on grounds of cover up of UFOs.
Oh God.
So this Wisconsin representative Glenn Grothman is calling now calling for the declassification of military documents involving like UAPs, UFOs, whatever we're calling them these days. Now, I mean, as interesting as this is, and I would like to see this declassified, can we at least see who fucking killed JFK first? Because they called for that declassified first. Yes. I don't think if the world's not ready to hear who killed JFK, they're sure as hell not ready.
I would agree with
to
that.
hear about UFOs,
unless it was aliens.
Maybe that's why they haven't yet,
exactly,
because they can't declassify the UFO stuff. So they're like, well, yes, we had to declassify the JFK stuff, but we're not allowed to declassify the UFO stuff. Right. And this is kind of the gray middle area because the aliens killed JFK, obviously.
Obviously.
So this is from WPR.org, one of those public radio sites, Wisconsin Public Radio.
Right, okay.
The Wisconsin congressman who chaired a high-profile committee hearing on UFOs says the military should be required to release classified information after a designated time period. So he's not saying, like, release it all right now.
Yeah.
He's saying after so much time of classification, we should... And I feel like the wording of this is vague enough that they're trying to do something else here, because it doesn't say release UFO classified documents. He says the military should be required to release classified information after a designated period.
Right. Yeah. So maybe he's trying to backdoor the Kennedy thing in.
Or maybe 9/11, because I mean,
or the Chinese weather balloons.
Or any of that. Yeah. Right. Says U.S. Representative Glenn Grothman, Republican, chaired last week's House hearing on unidentified anomalous phenomena. That's a lot of big words. Or UAPs, which a former intelligence officer claimed, all those things that we already talked about. It says the hearing was fodder for wild speculation online, though officials with NASA and the Pentagon have said they do not have evidence of extraterrestrial materials, let alone beings.
Yes.
Now, because NASA and the Pentagon have been so forthcoming on...
Yeah, for the last 60 years.
Since their existence, yes. Appearing Friday on Wisconsin Public Radio Central Time, Grothman acknowledged that the hearing had by far the most public interest of any he's seen recently. And he said there is a legitimate public interest in understanding what the government knows about UAPs that have been spotted. Is this something that other nations have developed that we are nowhere near developing? We ought to know that. And if it's something from outer space, there are people monitoring. Well, we ought to know that. Grothman said he wants to see a little more transparency from the military. Claims made by groups go far beyond what information has been publicly released, but reports of unidentified or unexplained flying objects have been the subject of inquiry by U.S. intelligence officials in recent years. Don't need to talk about all that stuff. Says a bipartisan amendment to the defense budget in the U.S. Senate would require declassification of military documents on UAPs no later than 25 years.
It's too late. Well, by then we'll already be their slaves.
After their creation, though.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So anything currently on the book, like modern stuff.
So if something was in the 30s.
Yeah, that's the thing, because I don't think we're ready to read what the Tic Tac ship was until we're ready to see what Roswell was.
Right. You got to start from the beginning.
Yeah, we've got Roswell sitting out there. We've got what other stuff from the 50s? Like Area 51 would be sitting out there. Which that if that's an ongoing place, that's not going to get declassified anyway.
That's true.
We've got, what are some of the other ones?
Well, I sent you that one which that was in Zimbabwe.
Well, we got the Nazi shit. That was within 25 years. Antarctica, we can talk about,
which is probably still ongoing,
though. Yeah. So I didn't see the one. I didn't read the Zimbabwe one.
I had heard that one on Joe Rogan, and that was the most convincing case I had heard of.
I'm gonna have to watch that one. Like, very quickly, details.
94, three ships landed in front of a school in Zimbabwe. 62 students said they saw like 6 or 7 8-foot tall silver people come out,
What the hell? Why haven't we heard about this shit?
Yeah, I hadn't heard about it until I heard about it on Joe Rogan, and so it's but like I said, it was the most interesting thing, and they've talked about it for years, and nobody will let their story be heard. So
we need to declassify that shit because
Exactly.
that's within 25 years. He said so no later than 25 years after creation, but he supported the idea of speeding it up to declassify within 15 years instead.
I mean, what would your if they irrefutable proof, like just put it out there and be like, okay, guys, you got us. This is what's going on. I mean, your reaction.
I'd be like, they're probably lying to us. It's like, no, really, what's going on?
Yeah,
for real?
right.
Like,
What are you
seriously.
distracting us from now?
Yeah, like, what's going on that you're telling us this crock of shit for? That would be my reaction. No, not even gonna lie. He says, we went through a period in the late 60s and early 70s in which there were a lot of rumors that these things were out there, Grothman said. As far as I know to this day, the files are not released on what pilots saw in the 60s and 70s. With the public's attention on UFOs, other elected officials are being asked to weigh in on the existence of aliens. On Friday, a reporter put the question to Governor Tony Evans, does he believe in aliens? His answer was no. With a shrug, too.
Glad they kind of built it up there.
Glad we cleared that one up. Yeah. Thank you. I mean, how long did they have to go through the channels to get to Governor Tony Evers?
Yeah.
To get a no.
Yeah.
Just
but along with the stigma, what would have happened to his political career if he said yes?
Right. Right.
Like yes.
But again, we have the Marjorie Taylor Greens out there shouting Q quotes, but she's also considered batshit crazy too. So
exactly.
She's probably controlled opposition to make everybody that believes in any conspiracy theory look like Marjorie Taylor Greene. So anyhow,
yeah.
Derek says government releases her evidence that aliens are real to cover up the existence of ghosts. That's the real conspiracy. That is it.
I'd be okay with that.
So, we're about to for a break, but you'd think we were like living in the 1950s again. Just how often how prevalent this is coming up, especially within the last 5 years. It's just constantly like building up.
Since the whole COVID thing, and that's why it's hard to believe, because then it's like, okay, what are you trying to hide now?
Right.
Maybe
COVID was aliens. Did you ever think maybe aliens are microbial and we were actually attacked by aliens from the inside out?
Yes, and that's why you needed the vaccine.
Yes, that was just to fight the aliens within us. I don't know.
That's gonna be a movie.
I want to talk about the 1950s or like that early stage, that time era. I want to get into break first because this one's gonna get. This will take a little while. So I want to take a break first. I want to talk about like what was going on during that time, and like all of a sudden this huge prevalence back then of all these UFO sightings just all over the place. Like, did aliens just all of a sudden decide, hey, let's just make a bunch of appearances during this time, and they were just checking us out? I mean, that's possible. Like scouts and stuff, like seeing what was going on, and then they're like went back to their boss man, and now maybe they're bringing back the Warriors now or something. You know, maybe
Well, maybe we finally got to a place with technology where they're like, okay, you know, we need to keep an eye on these guys. You know, they're fucking around with nuclear weapons.
Sure, maybe. I don't know. There could be something to that, or there could be other things out there that made us notice this. Like I said before, you see one, you see a million of them. Maybe they were just always there, and we didn't really pay any attention to it. And then all of a sudden, somebody's like, "Oh, there's flying saucers out there," and then people are like, start looking up and like, "Oh shit, I saw one too." You know,
right.
Like, I don't know if you didn't know that shooting stars existed. Would you ever in your life see a shooting star?
Yeah, right.
There's a good chance you wouldn't, unless you're like out during a major meteor shower or something.
Now I always look for them when I'm out.
Well, yeah, exactly. Now you look for them and you see them or things like that. So we're going to talk about the 1950s and other UFO examples and stuff like that when we come back. And then obviously we got to talk about how the planet Earth survives an alien invasion, because
Of course.
none of this matters if we don't know how to survive an alien invasion.
Absolutely.
So we're going to
It's the
take
meat of it.
We're going to take 3 or 4 minutes, and when we come back, we're going to talk about all that stuff. We're going to continue down this crazy alien conversation, or ghosts, or whatever Bill believes in. So we'll be right back in just a couple minutes.
Have you ever thought that maybe voting, maybe all this politics constantly surrounding you is not the way to achieve freedom in your life? Hi, I'm Remster W. Martinez, and I ask myself the same question. That's why I'm on a journey to find true freedom in my lifetime. From learning about financial independence, to new ways to develop rugged individualism, to amazing guests living strange, crazy, amazing lifestyles that you've only thought might be real, but actually are. Go ahead and check out my new show, On the Run with Remster W. Martinez, at the We Are Libertarians Network. You can find On the Run with Remster W. Martinez on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play. You know how the internet works. Come on down and let's discover how to achieve real freedom in your life together.
Hey everybody, I just want to take this time to give a big shout out to the very first sponsor of the Break the Bell podcast. That is Goulash Media. They can be found at goulashmedia.net. Goulash Media specializes in graphic design, web design, audio recordings, video work, wedding videos, music videos, even political campaign videos. Goulash Media caters to the little guy with the big vision. You can check them out at goulashmedia.net. That's GOULASH media.net. We're back. We are talking about aliens.
Did you see the Egyptian government released an official statement saying that no, aliens did not build the pyramids?
Prove it.
Yeah.
Fucking prove it. You got any evidence to show that they didn't? You got any evidence? Just like this David Grush guy doesn't have evidence that whatever he's saying, but prove it. I feel like that's bullshit too.
Yeah.
For them to, for the governments to come out and make an official statement, you know that they're 100% lying to you.
But Egypt, no, it was not aliens. We actually used slaves.
We actually used, we actually violated human rights and stuff, but it wasn't aliens. That was all us, 100% us.
Give us some damn credit.
Exactly. So we're talking about aliens. Apparently they didn't. Apparently build the pyramids, but who knows? Maybe they helped the Nazis, or maybe they wouldn't help the Nazis. Maybe they're like, the Nazis were first in contact with them, and they're like, yeah, we can work together. And Adolf Hitler's like, yeah, I want to use you to kill the Jews. And they're like, these people are nuts.
Yeah,
and then
right.
that's what they just took off.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what happened.
I can see that too.
I don't know. I don't know. There's so many possibilities, I guess, but I mean, we live in a world where the lead singer from Blink-182 is chasing aliens, so it's got to be real.
Absolutely.
It's got to be real.
That's the most credible source you
I
got.
mean, Tom DeLonge is much more credible than our U.S. government.
Yes.
I would buy anything that Tom DeLonge says over anybody in the U.S. government. So yeah, I guess keep at it. I mean, he has done it with such not give a shit attitude too. Like, can you imagine this? Like, first of all, you're like, all right, to his bandmates, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna put this thing that made us like millions of dollars, I'm gonna put this on hold because I've got a side project. And they're like, oh, you doing like a solo career? It's like, no, it's different. Oh, you doing like a fashion line? He's like, no, I'm going to chase aliens.
Well, I mean,
all
what do
right.
you do at that point?
Like, I mean, first of all, you had to convince them.
Right.
And then he's like, I'm going to partner up with NASA. And he's got to convince NASA or whoever it was that he worked with. He's got to convince like scientists, actual scientists. He's like, I know I've been playing punk rock music for the last 25 years, but I feel like I would be a huge asset to helping you find alien life forms.
Yeah.
Who would be harder to like to have that conversation with? Your bandmates or these scientists that you just
right, yeah. Oh, do you have a degree in physics or?
I don't. I don't know if he has some sort of astrophysics degree or not, but I just good on you. Like,
absolutely, that takes some balls.
Yeah,
right.
The conviction of like to go after your dreams, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
They say shoot for the stars. He took it literal.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I brought up the 1950s and said, like I feel like we haven't had such an interest in it since then. Yeah. Like it comes in waves, I guess. Right. And so I said I wanted to talk about like, you know, what was going on around there in the 50s. What was going on at the time that would possibly explain all these new sightings of UFOs.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like it's a coincidence that at the same time that we really started focusing on UFOs, we really started noticing UFOs, was also a pretty key moment in modern weapons development.
Right. Yeah.
Like missile programs. We talked about Operation Paperclip with the Nazis coming over and helping us develop missiles and rockets and stuff. Space programs, the nuclear programs, like even advances in aviation that were unheard of. Like, yeah, they had airplanes and stuff, but then all of a sudden you're developing like sonic jets and shit. And it's just like, how much of that was like testing out rockets in Nevada or something, and then somebody sees one shoot up and they're like, oh shit, that was you. Because like
breaking the sound barrier, right?
Right. Yeah. Things like that. Or they see the sky light up because of a nuclear bomb in the middle of freaking New Mexico. And it's just like, well, obviously that was a freaking alien, because there's nothing that we possibly could have in our arsenal there. Like all the stuff that they were working on in secret, like the secret nuclear programs, the secret, like, you know, every advance in weaponry was a top secret mission. Like nobody, like, have you seen Oppenheimer yet?
I have not.
Oh my gosh. Like even like the Manhattan Project, it was super compartmentalized. Like the people working on it didn't even necessarily know what was was going on.
They had their part to work on and that was it.
Right. And so from an outside perspective, not having a clue that all these developments are going on out there, anything could have appeared to be a UFO, especially if somebody said there's UFOs out there, there's flying saucers out there. All of a sudden you see like a supersonic jet fly over. She's like, oh, I saw one. You're right. There's one. Or you see a rocket shoot over.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, UFO. They told us there was UFOs.
This is a couple weeks ago, I saw one of Elon Musk satellites shoot up into the sky. Like it looked like, I mean, if I didn't know any better, I would have said it was a UFO, because it was like
in the 40s.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Because it was like it was like a trail of fire, like beads going into the sky. It was really bizarre.
The shit out. I wouldn't even. How did you know it was Elon
Musk? Well,
I
had to look it up, because I was like, what the fuck was that?
Right.
And I kind of watched with my wife to see it, and then afterwards I like started doing research, because I was like, what was it? And it said that they had launched a satellite that night. So
Derek says there is an undisclosed report from the USSR about a UFO hovering over a number of their silos and activating the missile systems, only to turn them off and boom away. Is this like a current report? Because the USSR doesn't exist anymore, so that would be an anomaly in its own. Did the time machine?
they got it back. Damn it!
I do want to
Mandela effect.
I do want to talk a little bit about that. I don't know if I have an article or not, because I was reading that there are a lot of reports that aliens or stories, I guess, not necessarily reports, but aliens prevented nuclear war, like world nuclear destruction, because they could hover over a nuclear facility and just deactivate them. And it was basically saying that they weren't being aggressive. They were just showing us pretty much, first of all, they're like, don't destroy your planet, because if we do decide to take over, we don't want you to destroy it all first.
Right. Yeah.
B, they were saying, look how irrelevant your biggest weapons are to us. Like don't try anything, because clearly your nuclear weapons, which are your number one, your biggest defense against something like this, we can just push a button and shut them off and deactivate them and nothing, and then just vroom away, like Derek said. So, but again, back to what we were saying about all the different programs going on. It made me start to think, is there a possibility that the government came up with and spread misinformation of UFOs to cover up their own secret programs?
Yeah.
Like, because I think in the 90s, because they talked about how Roswell was a weather balloon.
Right.
That was the initial report.
Right.
The thing that crashed was just a weather balloon. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, right. Well, apparently in the 90s, they came out with, they disclosed information that was actually a nuclear capable balloon that had crashed, and that's what people saw. It makes me wonder if the government would throw out that this was UFOs and then cover it up and say, so they covered up, so they, their own secret weaponry or whatever, their own secret weapons programs, they leaked some information out there that it was UFOs and then publicly covered it up as weather balloons, as some unrealistic, because they knew you're not going to contain public perception either way. So if the information got out there that, hey, this was a top secret U.S. weapon, oh no, it was a weather balloon, people would be like, yeah, bullshit, that was a top secret weapon. So instead they leaked that it was UFOs. To
it's the good old community Black Hitler cooking up waffles defense.
Exactly.
Right?
Sure.
It's got to be so crazy no one's going to believe it.
Exactly. Well, or crazy enough that they do believe it, but then we cover it up, obviously, because that's what we do, but nobody believes the cover up, so we're covering up a cover up of what really happened. But the story has to be, like something wild that, and then you send like Randy Quaid out there to talk about getting probed by aliens, and then the government comes out and it's like, oh, it's just and they could be like, oh, we could tell them it was an asteroid or something. No, because they might actually buy that. It needs to be not believable enough of a cover up that they buy the actual misinformation, which is, in fact, UFOs. But in fact, there wasn't UFOs. It was actually their own secret weapons programs. But then everybody starts talking about, oh, UFOs, UFOs, UFOs. So then every time they see anything out in the sky that might be secret weapons, UFOs.
Right.
I mean,
and eventually there's a stigma towards it, so you don't want to say anything. You see it and be like,
yeah, then you just stop talking about it altogether. And you're like, maybe it was a weather balloon that I saw. Did you ever? Yeah, there's most likely just a weather balloon. Now, this kind of reminds me of this last year. It talks about killer space lasers, crowd control heat weapons were in this UFO program.
Okay. I can see it.
So this kind of ties into what I was saying, like how they would contain what they were really doing under the guise of UFOs, but then cover it up with a bullshit cover-up story.
Right.
Because this was just last year. Do you remember when they talked that? So that this is when some UFO studies started coming out last year.
Okay.
And let's just read it. This is from the New York Post. It says, laser-equipped spaceships were believed to be possible by 2030, and a secret government agency wanted to make planes invisible. The now defunct Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, so this secret space, like UFO search program, went on from 2007 to 2012. Top secret. Examined the viability of these proposals, among other wild programs like nuking the moon. Most of the sci-fi-like ideas, which were theoretical or speculative and never came to fruition, were part of a 1,600-page report from the secretive Department of Defense. Space offers the ideal environment for laser beam propagation that can crack or melt targets like missiles. The 2009-2010 report said, these devices do offer the potential for a whole new class of weapons and capabilities which may complement but not replace existing kinetic energy weapons and electronic warfare. High-energy laser weapons, or HEL weapons, by contrast, begin delivering laser beam energy to target at the speed of light. However, they require a finite dwell time to accumulate enough thermal energy on the aim point to achieve the desired effect, similar to a blowtorch. The strength of a HEL weapon is its ability to precisely deliver a limited... God damn it, pictures keep popping up over... ability to precisely deliver a limited quantity of energy to a small spot with literal collateral damage to nearby objects or people. Speed of light energy transfer coupled with precision tracking allows HEL weapons to efficiently engage soft targets, which are highly maneuverable. So that's one of the things that this UFO research program was was studying laser weapons that could target individuals from space down to Earth. It also talks about optical illusion planes, or like invisible planes. It says the agency explored cloaking technology that would make fictitious Marvel comic book character Invisible Woman a reality. The theory behind invisible planes is making light reference materials like glass or water appear as curved spaces by themselves. Bending a light around an object would create the ultimate optical illusion, invisibility. It also talked about these like energy weapons for crowd control that would like hurt you.
Seen documentaries
but not,
on that.
Like
yeah,
damage your like it would temporarily hurt you. And so again, this UFO research agency is studying these things.
Right.
It says officials also feared if it had gone ahead with the program, it could have resulted in the militarization of space, fueling fears of a galactic conflict. The report was released after the Sun requested a copy of all files, reports, or video files relating to the Pentagon's secret UFO program. The bombshell FOIA haul includes reports on DIA's research into biological effects of UFO sightings on humans, including burns, heart problems, sleep disturbance, and blah, 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 blah. One document sets out to categorize anomalous behavior with encounters with ghosts, yetis, spirits, elves, and other mythical legendary entities classed as AN3 and seeing a UFO with aliens on board with CE3, whatever that means. So they come out with this bombshell FOIA release of this UFO sighting or finding organization or agency, and it includes lasers that can kill you from space, these high energy like crowd control weapons, these invisible planes, all this like top secret weaponry, and then they're like, plus the possibility of aliens.
Yeah.
What do you think got talked about the most out of this whole?
The aliens.
The aliens, obviously. The Yetis and the sprites and the fairies and the aliens. Obviously, that's what people are. Oh, shit. Did they really? Did the government really just release a document about aliens and the possibility of encounters with aliens?
Yeah.
And just totally blow over the fact that we're also talking about all these really scary
weapons,
high-tech weapons. Yeah. These new developed secret weapons.
And based on what I just heard, I'd be like, fuck the aliens. I want to know more about the Yeti.
No. Well, I'd be like, what's
the
this?
Fucking elves?
The super energy, like crowd control measures. Yeah. And what is this extraterrestrial, like search group? Why is it like proposing the idea of like, I don't know, like invisible planes and crowd control measures and lasers from space? The closest thing I can see is the lasers from space, because that kind of falls in their ballpark of space, I guess.
But I have seen like the heat like rays, like I watched a documentary about like non-lethal crowd control methods, and
right.
that was something that they talked about.
But that just goes back to what I was saying about the 50s and how they would possibly cover up their actual weapons like testing and technology advances with just throw aliens at them, because that's all anybody's going to talk about is fucking aliens. And then if they see our super laser in the sky or us testing an invisible plane, what are they going to think? It's probably aliens.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like that's kind of been their motive ever since like the 40s and 50s. And it just seems too coincidental that all of a sudden we have all this like sightings of UFOs and spacecraft and aliens right about the time that weapons technology was just freaking spiking. Like you're going from World War I,
biplanes,
just to World War II, where we already had fighter jets. Biplanes to fighter jets in that 15-year span, 20-year span.
And there was rumors that the Nazis were working on like subsonic flight.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, just even the Nazi tanks were like this big like freaking success in weapons technology compared to, I mean, helicopters didn't even get used until Korean War, I think, was the first time helicopters were used in war. So you're just saying like we went from Orville Wright inventing the plane to like going to space in such a small window of time, and it just happens to be in that time that everybody all of a sudden starts seeing aliens. So and it's not like the government was doing a lot to silence the alien talk. Yeah, they were. I mean, they were throwing out, "Oh, it's just a weather balloon. Don't worry about it. Oh no, there's not aliens." I don't feel like the government cover up was really the real cover up, because it was such a piss poor cover up.
And look at all the, I mean, the 50s were known for like their alien movies and TV shows.
And we've discussed, and everybody discusses how like Hollywood has kind of just been at the forefront of like programming, like directing us how to think, or like kind of desensitizing us to these things. And we've talked about that with aliens specifically. It's like all this stuff about alien invasion. So all this talk about it. So they're going to reveal that there is an alien invasion, and we're going to be like, oh, that makes sense. I mean, the movies have been talking about it for 50 years now. We knew it was coming. So I mean, Hollywood is an extension of the freaking intelligence and the government. So it was all most likely all a marketing scheme to cover up what they were really doing and get people thinking about aliens and stuff. Get them away from cowboys and Western movies into like, oh, space and aliens, and screw like being the outlaw, and screw like, like taking care of your own and taking care of yourself. Now we got aliens to fucking worry about.
So now we got to come together, right?
Exactly. So I mean, it's all a big scheme. That's all it is. Derek says, objection, Wonder Woman is DC, not Marvel. Did you say Wonder Woman was?
No. Oh, no. Oh, no, Derek, he said Invisible Woman from Marvel.
Yeah, I said
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that was New York Post.
With the invisible planes, I know where you're coming from.
Derek also says, we currently have laser EMF weapons that are taking down drones in Ukraine. That does not surprise me at all. Again, this article came out a year ago, and it was a FOIA request from a program that ended probably 10 years ago. So they were developing, or proposing developing them. When they start publicly proposing development of them, they've already developed them, and once they supposedly start developing them, they're already using those bitches. So they already exist, but those are UFOs. So Derek, UFOs, aliens, man, it's all aliens. So I feel like there is a case to be made that a lot of the UFO stuff was propaganda to kind of cover up what was really going on. But so I mean, again, like a lot of the UFO stuff didn't come up until modern times, like the 50s and the 40s and the 70s and stuff like that. But then how do you explain, like, even though like modern UFO hysteria came more like pretty recently, there's evidence of pre-modern sightings of UFOs. There's like writings of people seeing like battles in the sky and things like that. And I feel like you can't brush that off as government technology being used like back in like 80 BC or something like that. Like,
but there's very simple explanation, and that's time travel.
Oh, obviously, yeah. To Hitler and Victoria Nunes went back in time. So here's a couple. This is from JasonColavito.com, whatever the hell that is. But this is just some examples of pre-modern UFO sightings, which I found really interesting and probably more believable than the shit that goes on today. I'm just going to read a couple of these because this was 1st century BC. So this is just writings. Writing
that have seen
what
shit.
They have seen. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It says during this voyage, so this is Diodorus Siculus, whoever the fuck that is. During this voyage, a peculiar and strange event happened to Timoleon. Heaven came to support of his venture and foretold his coming fame and the glory of his achievements. For although the night he was preceded by a torch blazing in the sky up to the moment when the squadron made harbor in Italy. So they saw a torch, something fiery in the sky that helped him out or something.
Yeah.
And I mean, what was it? Moses in the Bible, they talked about like flame in the sky and stuff that he followed. So, I mean, maybe that was aliens. Did you ever think about that?
That's possible.
Ships in the sky in 218 BC. A phantom navy was seen shining in the sky in the territory of Amitaron. Beings in human shape and clothed in white were seen at a distance, but no one came close to them. This is Plutarch in 1st century CE. Many signs also appeared, most of which were of the ordinary kind, but from America and Tudor, Ameria, not America.
Oh, okay.
Ameria and Tudor, cities of Italy. It was reported that at night there had been seen in the heavens flaming spears and shields, which at first moved in different directions and then clashed together, assuming formations and movements of men in battle, and finally some of them would give way, while others pressed on in pursuit and all streamed away out westward. So interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Just like interesting writings from back then. I want to get to a little more modern. Let's see. UFO Battle of Parma in 1284. It says, note that this battle and massacre, which took place between Genoese and Pisans, was foretold and revealed a long time before it occurred. In the town of San Rufino, in Bishopric of Parma, women who by night were cleaning flax saw two great stars doing battle with another. They withdrew after many exchanges, and they fought each other again and again in many clashes. So what do you make of these?
Yeah, there's
like lots of them.
Are a lot more interesting to me than
the
modern day stories. I'd like to hear more about these.
Right. Let's see. Here's one. It says, there are some Christians now alive who were with the Marquis Don Francisco, this is 1553, when he seized Atahualpa in the province of Caxamarca. These names, man.
Yeah, right.
And they saw a green sign in the sky in the middle of the night, as broad as a cubit and as long as a lance. When Atahualpa heard that the Spaniards were looking at it, he requested that he also might be allowed to see it. And when he beheld it, he became very sad and continued so during the day. The governor, Don Francisco Pizarro, asked him why he continued to be sad, and he replied, I have seen a sign in the sky, and I tell you that when my father, Hyuna Capic, died, he saw a similar sign. I don't know. What do you make of these things?
I honestly don't know. I mean, it's like I said, these are way more interesting and more detailed. I mean, based on, I guess, their point of view. I mean, with our knowledge of technology and stuff, I mean, you know, we don't see anything nearly this detailed.
But it really makes you wonder, because you read things like the Bible and stuff, and like they attribute it as God or angels and stuff. But it makes you wonder, is any of the ancient writings like this, I mean, if they saw an alien, obviously they would think it was God or
absolutely
a ghost or a demon or a, you know, like, I don't know how to take this because some of it could
Yeah.
be like storytelling, some of it could be
Right.
because a lot of the ancient stories were passed down and down for generations anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just like, well, maybe they saw a shooting star and then that turned into, oh, I saw a flaming ball of fire in the sky and turned into a flaming torch in the sky, which, you know, like each generation down.
Right. Yeah. And then
I
they
don't
throw
know.
their poetic spin on it and it becomes something else entirely.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, these stories, you know, definitely make me want to look into it a lot more.
Right.
Based on, you know, I mean, much more so than the, you know, a couple in Nevada driving through the desert, you know, saw, you know, a ship like land in front of them and steal their cows, you know.
I mean, are there any reasonable explanations for some of these sightings aside from aliens and weather balloons? Because they didn't know what weather balloons were back then. Like, what are their explanations then? They don't have a government to tell them that this was a weather balloon.
Yeah, or you didn't see anything.
Yeah, so what would be a reasonable explanation for seeing like two stars duking it out in the sky, you know, or like a flaming torch in the sky aside from aliens? I don't know.
Aliens or angels and demons or any of that, you know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I guess.
I mean, seeing two stars fighting in the sky, you know, is a lot more different than a giant Tic Tac flying next to you.
It's
you
true.
know?
It's true. But they also aren't up in a plane, either. So, we're getting there. I don't know.
Yeah, Sue says meteor showers, and I agree. There was probably
I mean,
could have been a lot more of them back then. We, you know,
that's highly.
I mean,
possible.
they see an eclipse, right? What would they think?
God blocked out the sun.
Right.
Sure.
Or a ship.
Or an alien spaceship. Yeah. I don't know. And a lot of it could be like kind of hyperbolic too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, they could see something and just write it poetically to be like the stars fell to the earth.
Yeah.
Well, there's just like
the finger of God came down upon the earth to describe a tornado. Right.
I gotta ask you this because you don't believe in aliens, you believe in ghosts.
Yeah.
But in your past, we're gonna kind of shift topics here.
Sure.
In your past, in your many years, did you ever experience something that you're like, that's a freaking alien or that's a UFO? Anything, or at least in your mind, besides the Elon Musk spacecraft, in that moment where you're like, it's fucking aliens, man.
Yeah,
you're the guy from the History Channel with the crazy hair.
No, I
like,
never have.
Never,
ever.
But you saw Santa Claus, but you have never seen anything alien.
Yes, and Ghost.
But you have seen ghosts. Yeah. All right, give me your ghost story.
All right. Okay. So I was 4 years old. All right. I was living in Alaska.
It's always in Alaska. That was one thing I was going to ask you. You had to have seen a freaking alien from Alaska.
You would have thought so. Yeah,
you had to have.
But so the houses we lived in were old World War II barracks. Okay. They converted them over to army housing. And so
this was 2 years after World War II, right?
Basically. Alaska just became a state. No. So my mom's gone at work and I'm at home with my dad, and my dad, we're sitting on the couch watching TV, and my dad got up, took the dog outside. Right. And I'm sitting on the couch, and then all of a sudden, like I saw like this dark shadow coming down from the stairs.
There's a cat.
We didn't have a
Santa
cat.
Claus.
and this deep breathing, and the whole room got ice cold.
Huh.
And so, I booked it. I just took off.
How high were you?
Well, it could have been the asbestos or the lead paint. So, but yeah, so that's my story.
But it couldn't have been aliens, though.
I don't think so.
No. Obviously, there's a possibility that was a ghost, but there is no chance it was aliens.
No,
obviously,
no.
So, I have a story.
Okay.
And I forgot about it.
And this is an alien story.
Well, sort of.
Okay.
At the time, there was the possibility there. Now, when I was a kid, we were driving somewhere or home from somewhere. I don't remember where. I don't remember who we were with. I feel like there was more than just my parents and us in the
like
car. I
New
feel
Kids
like
on the
we're
Block concert.
no. I was like young, like
Oh,
probably
okay.
6.
Okay.
But I feel like aunt, uncle, or somebody was there. My mom, if she's listening, she was earlier. She can back me up on this. But we're driving out in the country, and all of a sudden the sky is just like lighting up green, like bright freaking green, like neon green, and not just like kind of green, like super green, like the whole sky is lighting up green.
And this is in Illinois.
Yes.
Okay.
I assume so, because that's where I grew up, and yeah. Illinois-ish. Illinois, Iowa, somewhere in there, but probably Illinois. Whole sky's lighting up green. And my parents are freaking out. And obviously that caused us, like, we thought we were going to freaking probably, there's a chance we're not going to make it through the night. Didn't know if it was like alien invasion. Didn't know if it was like the apocalypse was coming or something. Just, we had no freaking clue what was going on. It turned, I was told later on, I don't know if they confirmed this or if the government told us this or if they just assumed that a transformer had blown somewhere, and that's what I don't buy that to this day, though, because I've never seen a transformer blow and like light the sky up green.
Make the sky green.
But you also got to realize that when I was 6, so if I was 6, I would have been 91. The Soviet Union was still a thing, or just collapsed at the time.
Collapsed, yeah.
So nuclear holocaust could be in our freaking mindset at that point. Right. It's still fresh in our brain.
Yeah.
So you see something like that, it's like, did a nuke just get dropped down the road or something?
Right. Yeah.
B, we're still kind of at the tail end of the UFO hysteria. So, I mean, there's that playing into all of it. And C, my family was very strong, like, apocalyptic Christian type, like and you remember, like, this predates like the Left Behind series. Even it was like the what was that series from the 70s? It was like the hippie series about like everybody, like the apocalypse, like Christian apocalypse.
I don't know.
I can't think of it, but it was similar to the Left Behind series, but it was like hippie era. So back, like the hippies, like the hippie, like Jesus people, they're super like apocalyptic, right? That's kind of how I was raised. So it's either A, aliens, B, nuclear fallout, or C, the second coming. You know, like,
nothing good.
No, like either it's going to be really good for us or really bad for us. I don't freaking know. So, like, I just know that it wasn't. I just remember for my family, it wasn't like everybody stay calm, everything's fine. For my family, like my parents included, it was just like there's a good chance we're not going to get out of tonight. Like, wow. This is bad. So
were you crying?
I'm pretty sure I was. Like, we were freaking the hell out.
Yeah.
We were, for a couple minutes, we were freaking the fuck out. Yeah. So, I don't know. I still, to this day, I don't buy the transformer blown thing. Right. I've seen blown transformers. I've seen them like freaking shooting lightning bolts out of them up on the. Never seen the sky green like that since. So, pretty sure it's probably aliens, but or it's probably the government. I don't know. I don't know. So that's my UFO experience. Okay. I did send you a video a couple of years ago of a UFO flying around.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know what it was. It was tiny. It was
I remember you sending that. Yes.
It looked like a piece of trash, like small enough to be like a piece of trash, but it was just like going back and forth. So maybe a kite. Do people still fly kites though?
On occasion.
But there's probably a better chance that it was an alien UFO than a kite.
Definitely.
Derek says radio. It was a shooting star apparently. Oh, Derek. Oh, here's the rest of it. While working at the sheriff's office as a dispatcher, I got numerous calls about an airplane / green fireball hitting the ground, lit up the whole sky. Heard other countries talking about it on the radio. It was a shooting star apparently, a green shooting star. Huh. I don't believe it, Derek. It was a fucking alien.
Was that maybe 1991?
Yeah, I don't. I'm assuming that's about the time frame it was. Yeah. Was that, Derek, were you working for the sheriff's department back when I was 6 years old? I mean, somewhere in there.
Yes.
Don't quote me on that. But this did happen, though. So,
yeah.
I don't know. That's the closest thing I guess I've come to.
Yeah, I've never had an experience like that.
No. I mean, it wasn't like I saw something that was like, that's definitely a freaking alien, but I saw something that was scary enough that I'm like, I have no freaking clue what this is. It could be aliens, it could be a nuke, or it could be the apocalypse. I don't know. Or all of them wrapped in one. I don't know.
That could be. Huh.
So I don't know. I just feel like in that moment, the way my whole family felt, even rational adults felt in that moment. Could you imagine in the 50s, somebody seeing like a rocket, or like the 40s, a rocket being tested, like shot up and tested?
Yeah. With
like,
no idea what it could be.
Just like panic mode, like it's alien. And then you have the government saying it's not aliens, guys.
Yeah. Right.
It's
like a weather balloon.
They're like, well, I didn't even like have the thought in my head that it was aliens, but now I do.
Yeah, right. Why
Don't
would
worry,
you go there?
It's an aliens. It's like, well, shit. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like I said, I'm open to the possibilities. Now would like it say like an Independence Day situation, right? Where like a giant ship appeared above the city.
Oh.
Would that shake your Christian faith?
No, I don't think so. I've come to terms with the possibility that could, like, what happens if that happens, and I don't think so.
Yeah.
God damn it! Where did all my articles go? Like my article about what to do if aliens attack isn't even here. I'm gonna find it though. I don't think so. I think it would change the way I view it, but I've already kind of opened up to the possibility that something could happen that would change that. That it's not gonna, like, if I've come to terms with, evolution could be real, and does that completely shatter my foundation? No, it doesn't. Like, I feel like it's still in the realm of possibility that God exists and caused that thing. That's still pretty miraculous. That I don't think humans came from like amoebas or anything like that. I think in the very least humans are were made the way the Bible says. But I'm not against like saying that I don't know, like one species evolved from another species. It doesn't shake. But I mean, then on the other hand, it's like, well, if aliens exist, what does that make God? Is like God an alien? Is God like, I don't know.
It opens a lot of different doors.
I'll entertain any of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't freaking know, Bill. I don't have answers. What do you think? Do you believe in ghosts?
I do.
How does that fall into your Christian beliefs?
Well, I mean, it's the spirit, and sometimes spirits don't want to move on or get lost, or
Where do they get lost at? In your house?
Alaska, apparently.
Alaska. With Santa Claus. They don't want to leave Santa Claus. Yes. Derek says he would have been 2. So no, it was like 13 years ago. Okay. So it wasn't in 1991. So here, I'm getting this article pulled up now because we gotta end this right.
Yeah. We have to know what to do if aliens do attack.
Yeah. And so this is from exemplar.com, and it's titled 5 Ways Aliens Could Invade the Earth and How We Might Stop Them. Sue Keller says trapped in limbo.
I agree with that too, Sue. That's possible.
I mean, that's obviously scientific, more scientific than aliens. So do you think maybe the government is making you believe in ghosts?
Well, that's possible too.
Or the government? Oh yeah, we already talked about it.
Now that I think about it, it could have been all the lead paint that I ate.
We talked about this, though. The government is using aliens to cover up the fact that ghosts actually exist. So 5 ways aliens could invade the Earth and how we might stop them. Could aliens invade the Earth? And if so, how would they do it? A life form capable of traveling countless light years to get to our planet would be far superior to us and likely possess technology we can barely comprehend. It's not that they would likely possess technology unless the CIA has some secret freaking jump galaxies technology we don't know about,
which is possible.
If they are traveling light years to get to us, they definitely possess technology we can't comprehend.
Yeah.
In the movies, humans always come out on top when aliens come looking for trouble, but in reality, we'd be doomed. Well, that's a good start for this article. This whole article is like, if aliens attack,
Yeah.
How would we stop it? You don't. You're fucked.
Yeah, right. We'll tell you what to do, but it's not going to matter.
The end. You're fucked. Says, or would we? While an alien race that traveled to Earth would certainly have knowledge of some seriously hardcore science that would enable them to make the journey, that doesn't mean they are superior to us in other ways. It does, though. It really does.
Yes.
The fact that A, they traveled that far, B, they survived it.
Yeah. Right.
They're better than us in all the ways. Just like that nerdy kid from high school who aced advanced trigonometry but couldn't bounce a basketball without knocking himself out. Aliens may be all brain and no brawn. Yes. Space Jam.
Yes.
It worked on Space Jam.
It's a documentary.
It would work for real. Derek says, step 1, dig a hole. Put head between. Step 2, put head between legs. Step 3, kiss your ass goodbye. Yes. Sue says, didn't we have a recording somewhere in space saying something in multiple languages?
Yes.
Yeah, but we forgot the alien language. So you just fly up to the ship and flash like flashy lights at it.
Yeah.
Like strobe lights at it, because that's not like
play the Close Encounters on the right. If you're an alien, you're flying also
like high beams in your face. Yeah. Have you ever like been driving down the This is an Independence Day reference, by the way. The flashing strobes when they're like, whoa, we're just gonna make contact with these like flashy flash. Have you ever been driving down the road and somebody like suddenly starts like flashing their high beams and you're just like, well, that guy has something nice to say.
Yeah, right.
And you're like, fuck you.
Yeah, right. I'm taking him off the road.
It says, so it's talking about us beating them possibly in basketball. Says, in that case, we may have a fighting chance. You can say a lot of negative things about us humans. This guy is way too positive. But when it comes down to it, we are fairly stubborn and tenacious life forms. We fight tooth and nail against each other, so any invader coming down to this planet with bad intentions certainly will not get a warm welcome.
Well, that's the point of every movie.
I mean, that is fair, too. Yeah. It's like, we got a lot of racist fuckers.
Yeah.
They're not going to let...
Exactly.
I mean, it's hard enough for them to allow Mexicans in. Can you imagine, like, space aliens? And just tell them they're illegals, and we'll be fine.
Put them up in a hotel in New York City.
The possibility that aliens will invade Earth someday is more real than people might think. Of all the supernatural beings alleged to exist, alien life is the only one that is not only plausible, but likely. Based on what? Okay.
David Gorch.
Of all the supernatural beings, ghosts,
right? Elves, apparently. Sprites
and
Yetis.
Trolls. Aliens are the only one that's plausible and likely to exist.
I need proof.
Why is it more plausible and likely to exist for aliens over sprites?
Because
and trolls?
that's science-based and not magic-based.
Based on what science, though? It's based on the fact that there's a billion stars.
Right.
What are the odds that we're the only ones
right
here?
Absolutely.
That's the only thing that's based on. Surely some of they go on to say exactly that. They estimate our galaxy to hold some 300 billion stars and 100 billion planets. Surely some of those planets support life, and some of that life is intelligent. Okay, so that's literally all they're basing it on. Exactly what I said. The real question is whether the intelligent life can come here. So what can we do if they decide the Earth is theirs for the taking? Here's a look at some ways aliens could invade Earth and how we might stop them in their tracks. Number 1. So, like I said, 5 ways they might attack us. The first is the obvious, a military assault style. Aliens may invade the Earth by launching a military-style assault in the attempt to annihilate us. Who knows what tactics they may employ, but taking out our communication satellites seems a logical first move. Or using our satellites to communicate around the world to bounce their signal
Jeff
around.
Goldblum.
Yes. That's how we survive.
Yes.
As long as Jeff Goldblum is still alive, we'll be fine. Maybe that's why they haven't attacked yet, because they're waiting for Jeff Goldblum.
Oh my gosh.
It says,
clone that man.
Then they may employ EMP weapons in the atmosphere to disable our electronic systems. We're still only thinking like what our brain can comprehend, like EMPs and satellites and stuff. they're going to use something that we couldn't even possibly comprehend.
Yeah.
The third step might be a massive bombardment of the planet by their warships in orbit around the Earth with the purpose of destroying major cities and population centers.
Independence Day.
Exactly. Finally, ground forces and tactical aircraft will mop up any remaining humans that pose a threat. If their technology is sufficient, we may be helpless against such a military strike. However, there are two possible scenarios where we might win out over a superior enemy. The first one, we have to hope they are unable to do serious damage to our population centers and military capabilities with their initial cannonade. In this case, some of the most powerful countries around the world, such as the US, Great Britain, Russia, Australia, and China, may be able to hold their own against alien ground assault troops. The invaders may have better technology, but we are on our home turf and our military forces are very good. But we also can't travel across space, so that's not saying much. And they're like, what's the likelihood that they'll take out all the people in our major city? Have you seen Independence Day?
Exactly.
They have
it's a coordinated
giant
attack.
freaking laser that just blows up the
using
whole.
the satellites.
Right.
That's why we need Jeff Goldblum.
In the second scenario, humanity is reduced to fighting a guerrilla war. It isn't likely an alien occupying force would be able to completely exterminate humans by brute force, at least not in a short period of time. Pockets of resistance around the globe would continue to fight back and try to send the colonizing bullies back to their planet. But let's say they set off an EMP.
Yeah.
Let's humor them.
Right.
What do we have that would possibly do any damage to them?
Right.
Like,
yeah,
all our electronics guided weapons are gone.
Right.
We're left to very rudimentary, like rifles and pistols and stuff.
Yeah, which wouldn't penetrate their armor or shields.
Probably. Says in either scenario, it's not likely we could defeat a superior alien enemy in the long run, but we don't have to. We don't have to defeat them. We only need to hang in there and cause enough havoc for the invaders to realize that taking Earth isn't worth the loss of alien blood and treasure. With a little luck, if we can make things tough enough for them, they'll pull up stakes and look for an easier target somewhere else in the galaxy. I mean, I guess there's that.
Sure. I'll humor.
That's very very positive thinking.
Optimistic for sure.
Yes, very optimistic. So that was a military attack. The second one is a biological attack. If an invading force wishes to take over Earth, they may be able to do it without ever firing a shot.
COVID.
Exactly. Like we said, little tiny aliens. They may be able to. Now think of COVID when you hear this one, because this one's hilarious. We probably won't get through all 5 of these, but I got to get through this one. They may be able to engineer a pathogen and unleash it on our planet, making a deadly disease do their work for them. First of all, they wouldn't have to manufacture a deadly disease. They just like sneeze on Earth, and we don't have the freaking
we don't
antibodies to fight it, so it just kills us all.
Yeah, they sneeze and we all become impregnated.
Oh, jeez. Really, in this scenario, invading aliens wouldn't even need to make their presence known to us. For example, if they had the technology to do so, they'd simply need to harness an asteroid or comet loaded up with some anti-human virus and launch it at the Earth. From our point of view, we'd see an asteroid impact followed by the outbreak of some strange pandemic that gradually spreads across the world. As our population dwindles and our societies erode, it may never occur to the last human alive on Earth that we have been victims of an attack. Once we're gone, the invaders move in. Sounds grim, but surely super intelligent aliens would choose a method such as this over a military conflict. So what can we do? Our only hope would be for our scientists and researchers to come up with a cure for whatever disease the aliens concocted. Now you got to realize they came up with the COVID vaccine within 6 weeks of COVID striking.
Right.
So this is highly possible.
Right.
Here. They've been working on it for 20 years, this alien vaccine. Maybe they'd be able to tell us, or be able to tell it's something made in a lab, but really smart aliens may be able to make it look like naturally occurring mutilation of a known earthly virus. In any event, cures and vaccinations would be our only chance of survival. Some sections of population may prove to be immune, and very remote human population may be spared simply by lack of contact with the outside world. So humanity will go on, but with the way the world is linked together by air travel today, it's likely a successful biological attack would mean the loss of billions of lives. So not very good chances, unless we gotta keep Dr. Fauci alive.
Yes.
Is what we need to do.
Yes.
We have to keep Dr. Fauci alive.
Keep a list. We need Jeff Goldblum and Fauci.
Yes. So those two.
Very
so
nice.
in case of, so they have like a button to push. Like in case of biological attack, they push their Fauci bat signal. In case of military strike, they push their Jeff Goldblum.
Yes. Okay, we got 2 on our list. People that must be saved.
Environmental warfare. Aliens may be able to turn our own planet against us by manipulating natural forces such as weather patterns and plate tectonics. Otherworldly intruders would be able to destroy huge numbers of us along with infrastructure we depend on for survival. Here's another scenario where we would likely have no idea that alien forces are at work. Asteroids would batter the Earth. Massive tidal waves, hundreds of feet tall, would crush our coastal cities. Earthquakes could crumble major population centers. Tornadoes would carve out, blah, blah, blah. All these things.
But they're destroying all the natural resources that would make the planet valuable.
Depends on what they see as natural resources.
Maybe they just want to eat us.
Yeah, maybe it's us that they're, maybe they just like dirt, like dry dirt. They eat that and survive off of that.
Okay, that's the point.
Well, I mean, if tidal waves are destroying us or earthquakes and stuff, I mean, that's not really changing the
That's true.
the ecosystem. It's just killing us all. What does it sound like to you, though?
Day after tomorrow.
It sounds like global warming on
Right.
steroids.
Yeah, right.
So
we don't need to. It's us. We're doing it, right?
All right. We'll see what they're.
All right.
But they're.
I'm surprised. I'm sure he's going to say that.
As lost lives pile up and cities crumble, the remaining population would endure the constant burden of rebuilding roadways, restocking food supplies.
They don't need roads.
No.
They hover.
No, it's saying the people that remain.
Gotcha,
Restocking food supplies, keeping the power grid working, and maintaining communication systems. After months or years of constant battle with the elements, the remaining human population would be back to living conditions something like those of the Stone Age. There would be no more advanced technology to rely on and no resources beyond what we could get from the natural world. So how would we prevent our extinction in such a scenario? You'll learn how to freaking survive.
Yeah, right.
Aliens may be able to wipe out millions, even billions of us controlling the weather, but ultimately their plan must depend on the resulting chaos when our world suddenly plunged back to a time when there was no electricity. Certainly everybody won't make it, but those humans who are capable to adapt to a new world and relearn skills that allow us to thrive on the savannas of Africa, the steppes of Central Asia, and the plains of North America may have a fighting chance. So,
all right, survival of the fittest.
Exactly. Now, this sounds again like what the climate activists say is impending anyway. Right. So,
but maybe it's not us.
But maybe who could save us from that, though?
Dennis Quaid.
No, not. Who is our hero? When it comes to the catastrophic.
Greta Thunberg.
Thunberg.
Oh my gosh.
So we've got Fauci, Jeff Goldblum, and Greta Thunberg to save us from the environmental, the military, and the biological.
Yes. Okay.
Population takeover. What if aliens didn't want to destroy us at all? What if they need us? Their interest in Earth is not for colonization, but for mining its resources. It stands to reason they would need a labor force. Relatively small number of them might be able to take control of Earth, but they would still need us to do the dirty work.
It's like the movie Them.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
Oh, you got to go see it.
But
80s.
How would aliens force nearly 7 billion people to do their bidding? Put it on MSNBC. That's all they got to do. Or CNN or something like that. Ruling out some mind control method where we all suddenly line up and start packing water to be shipped to Zeta Reticuli. One possible way.
Specific.
That was very specific. One possible way would be through threats. Perhaps an invasion force, blah, blah, blah. We don't have to get into all that.
No. You know what they need to do is they just need to look like our leaders.
Well, exactly.
And get us to do stupid shit.
That's what I'm saying. All they'd have to do is put it on Fox News and CNN, but make it sound like they're against each other and everybody's going to fucking do it. That's all they got to do.
Yeah.
I don't think they're like Elon Musk might be our hero in that one or Donald Trump because it's the fake news.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Rowdy Piper.
Says if dirty, rotten aliens are anything like dirty, rotten humans, they'd probably throw a little manipulation in there with the threats. Give us 1,000 tons of water and we'll spare you your planet, they might say. No,
they wouldn't need to do that.
Of course, the intruders wouldn't stop there. They'd have us right where they want us. The demands for resources and threats would escalate until we did little more than eat, sleep, and gather resources. Isn't that what we do anyway? Isn't that what government does to us?
Yes.
The way to defeat such an oppressor is the same as it has been. Brave people must stand up and fight back. Refuse, resist. Eventually, if we're ever again to have hope of being anything more than worker bees, we'd have to start swinging. No, they're not going to do that because we won't do that now because that's all we are for our current fucking system that we have now.
Yes.
And nobody's willing to step up and fight for that.
Yes.
6 is genetic manipulation. Aliens are intent on invading Earth, may choose to alter our genes as an easy way to wipe us out.
Like vaccines that change your mRNA?
Yes.
NRA.
So, with nearly 7 billion people in our little world, invaders would have their work cut out for them. But unlike with our methods of other methods of invasion, they wouldn't have to annihilate us on a grand scale. They would only need to tip the population trend in the other direction. We're already in the other direction.
I know, right?
Year after year, declining births and increased deaths would eventually take their toll. The good news in this scenario is that now living humans would not have to battle alien troops, endure a pandemic, or survive endless natural disasters. The bad news is eventually they would become extinct.
It sounds horrible.
So how could they survive? Presumably, once a decline in population was detected on a serious level, our scientists would set out to discover the cause.
Too much faith in your scientists.
Perhaps our understanding of genetics is already sufficient to create our own program to reverse the trends, or new programs could be implemented so that the healthiest humans could pass on their genes. Sounds like they're using it as an excuse for like, oh, what's it called? What's it called where they like study like genes and like the healthiest genes and like
eugenics.
Yes, it sounds like they're using aliens as an excuse for eugenics. Maybe, just maybe, we could find like the hot, strong and healthy ones and then replicate their genes, but not the genes of the weak ones. Right. We'll just let them.
But
go
they gotta have blonde hair and blue eyes. That's the only way you can do it.
And be super white. Hope for humanity against an alien aggressor. These are just 5 of the possible scenarios of how aliens will wipe out humans and invade the Earth. Certainly, there are many more. Some more hopeless than the ones in this article.
I want to hear about those.
Yeah, these seem pretty fucking hopeless.
Right?
Would humanity survive?
These all come from movies, though.
Well, here's the answer. Would humanity survive any of these events? It's not likely. But there is hope. Humans are aggressive, belligerent, stubborn, and selfish.
Yeah, we're assholes.
These are traits that have led to all the wars ever fought, all the atrocities ever committed, and all the conflicts that exist in the world today.
Yes.
They are also the human qualities that might make any alien invader wish they had stayed home. So, why the fuck are we pushing so hard to make people less aggressive, more docile?
Right.
It's like, all you're doing is screwing us in the end.
And maybe that's their goal. Maybe they're trying to make us more compliant and docile through the public school system so that they can take us over without us fighting.
Well, did you ever stop and think that the people that are doing to this might be the puppets of the aliens to begin with?
Oh, yeah, because they probably were promised, land and riches.
Big position, like government position.
Yes.
Like that,
and all they got to do is make us that show Colony. Exactly. Yep, that's exactly what's going on. And all the shit he mentioned is basically going on right now anyways.
It's true. It's like we're doing this to ourselves.
Exactly.
So
we don't need aliens
to do it. Yeah.
So where's the big, strong, stubborn, aggressive people that are going to stand up?
Derek says we're destroying our world as is. We'd nuke the whole planet just so they can't have it. I could see that.
Yes, that's true.
I mean, I would do that.
I would too.
If it came down to there's no more hope,
yes.
The aliens are coming and we have nothing to screw it. Just blow the whole thing
but
up.
They're
blow it up before they have time to fuel up because then they can't make it to the next planet.
All the people that have access to it, i.e. like Hunter Biden, would make a deal so that they would get everything they wanted and refuse to blow it up.
And then they get fucked at the end, because that's how it always works too. It's
is,
like, I made this deal. And then they end up getting
they
screwed
eat 'em.
over too. Derek says they've traveled through space where they encounter all kinds of radiation, and EMP would likely be ineffective. Yeah. I mean,
I agree.
A nuke's probably ineffective. There's probably not too many effective solutions. So yeah, just nuke just self-destruct.
Yes.
And then
you don't agree
like,
with the War of the World solution where they get the flu and then they all die off because they can't handle it?
I mean, that is just as likely, because I was saying if all they'd have to do is sneeze on us and our immune system would be
right.
I mean, there is the possibility of the reverse. I go there and I like pick my nose and wipe it on him. He could
exactly.
I mean,
maybe that's why they released COVID, was to protect us from the aliens.
But then they killed half of us off too. Well, supposedly killed like 0.0001% of us off.
But the dolphins came
Maybe
back.
Maybe that 0.0001% was actually aliens.
Exactly. Holy shit. I didn't even think about
Greys.
that.
Yeah, they're like the shapeshifters.
Yes, the ones that were. Yes. Damn.
Then why is Hillary Clinton still alive?
And Biden.
That too. I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily believe in aliens, but if aliens existed, do you think we stand a chance if they invaded?
Not really. No.
Not really.
I mean, we're stubborn assholes, so maybe.
Do you think aliens would be hostile if they came, or you think they'd be more exploratory, or what do you think?
You would hope that they would be advanced enough that they would not, but I could also see if they came, rarely would they declare their intentions, right? The United States, when they go to countries, they never act as the aggressors. They're nation building, right?
Yeah, that's fair too.
Yeah. We're here to give you our technology and help build you up so you can be a better people.
Or maybe they come all the way here with peaceful intentions, then they get one look at our social media and they're just like, just wipe it. We don't need that.
Yes.
We don't need that at all. They kill each other.
X?
Might as well
what
just
the fuck is X?
Yes. Now, do you fight back if aliens attack? Like, would you fight back?
Yeah, I would.
Would you go bury yourself in a hole with some really good whiskey?
No.
And just live it out that way?
I mean, I'd probably go take the fam up to the mountains and.
So you want to fight back? You just go like live out the rest of your years the best way possible. Then.
Well, yeah.
You want to like join like the resistance and like.
If I had to, but my goal is to keep my family alive and
at least enjoy your last couple moments on Earth.
Yeah.
And then self-destruct the Earth, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Because it seems like any Earth, like worldly, like human type thing that came against me, yeah, you bet your ass I would fight back. But in that scenario, it's just like, is it worth it for me? It's kind of like the paratroopers. You saw that? What was that show with about the paratroopers in World War II?
Band of Brothers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Where like they're going in to fight the cause and fight the Nazis, and some of them, like, as soon as the plane took off, they get shot down and die anyway.
Yeah.
And that's the most likely scenario if we form a resistance to go. We're not even going to make it out of the parking lot, and we're just gone.
Yeah.
So it's like in that scenario, it's just like weighing out the pros and cons, the chances of, and even like pecking the surface. Star Wars reference. Are slim to none. So I think I'd be more likely the one that would like, let's head for the hills. Let's live out a few more days in some kind of peace and enjoy nature and stuff. And then we'll just go out with some form of honor, I guess. I wouldn't like, oh, we all got to kill ourselves. So we're not. No, I just be like, let's just survival mode, I guess.
Exactly.
Over
fight if you have to, but survival mode. Try to live, So, I mean, if they overthrow the government, does that really matter?
No, I'd welcome them in at that point. So do you think any of this alien stuff from this hearing, do you think any of it's real?
No. Well, I mean, again, the army taking the money and put it towards the Wolverines. Nice. No, I don't.
You think it's just a big distraction?
I think so.
A distraction of what? I mean, they came out this week and said China had biolabs here in the United States that we didn't know about. It's like,
Yeah.
They know about the freaking hair salon down the street, but they didn't know about a Chinese biolab.
Yeah.
The Biden deals, we talked about that plenty of times.
They've come out now where I guess they actually like had the big guy on the phone like a bunch of times.
Oh, of course they did.
So
now another thing that's come to mind just while writing this episode is it makes me really wonder what weapons they're working on developing right now, because like we were saying, like in the past it was like possibly covering up the nukes and the kids and stuff. It was just this big misinformation campaign. It's like all of a sudden all these aliens are back in the news. It makes you wonder, what super secret weapon are they working on that we're like, oh, we got just throw out aliens and they'll believe that it was aliens. It worked for us for the last almost 100 years now, so why not just throw out aliens again?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Something is freaking going on that they're like, hey, let's fill up the news cycle with aliens right now.
Right. Let's get this whistleblower up here and get him talking to the nation.
Something's going on. Yes. And I'm probably 80% positive it's not real aliens. Yeah. But I'm not sure. But it might be ghosts, I guess. Sue Keller says, hunker down, survive, leave them alone. Maybe they'll leave you alone. I mean, that's a fair bet.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Any final thoughts on all this alien shit?
It's weird. Do
you believe in aliens now?
No.
After this episode, still, I couldn't convince you.
No, afraid not. If anything, you helped me come around to the thought that it's probably just the government fucking around, military screwing around, testing shit.
You don't believe there's no chance that Hillary Clinton is in fact an alien?
No, there's a huge chance that she's got something going on.
So you don't believe in aliens, but you do believe Hillary Clinton's an alien.
I think Hillary Clinton is something.
I don't know.
Lizard person, right? From the depths of the oceans.
I mean, I guess she's got the clammy skin.
Yes.
I wouldn't know. I haven't touched her skin, but
isn't there a video where you can see her eyelids kind of go sideways or something like that?
Yes,
at some point?
And she has this weird glob thing come out, or she spits out like a green glob like that big. Have you seen that one?
No.
It's like so remember her choking fits that her coughing fits. There's one where she goes and takes a drink, and then you see this big green glob just come out into the cup, and it's like, what the? Would she just birthed something? Yes, exactly. Sue Keller says it's so a distraction. What's going on that they don't want us to know?
Exactly.
Derek, final thoughts say kinetic impact weapons will be the next thing. Rob from God, huge tungsten rod shit to Earth from space. I have heard of that.
I have too.
You just drop a tungsten rod from up in outer space, and it's enough force that it just basically
wasn't Putin bragging about that?
Was that? I can't remember. We had talked about it
we did.
About a year or so ago. It says just energy replace upon impact, no radiation. Yes. Yeah. Just dropping giant ass metal rods from out in outer space, and it's enough to just blow shit up without
causing radiation and shit.
Exactly. That's all I've got.
Yeah.
I say that's all I've got.
Yes.
I mean, we went.
Just remember, when it's hopeless, we still have Jeff Goldblum.
We do. And Greta.
Yes. And Fauci.
Dr. Fauci. Still,
there's hope
out there. Yes,
there are people willing to fight.
The dream team right there. And basketball. There's always basketball.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
When the aliens.
Yes. Michael Jordan is still alive.
He is. And LeBron James. Have you seen the second one? That was terrible.
I couldn't do it.
It was awful. It was terrible.
Do it.
Definitely got Michael Jordan still out there to beat the aliens with basketball. That's all I have. Let me know what you think. Do you believe in aliens? Have you had a freaking
close encounter?
Yes. I want to consider mine a close encounter, but it was enough for me to be like, this is fucked.
Yeah.
This is messed up. If you've had a close encounter, experienced something that even if now you look back and you're like, that wasn't aliens, but at the time you're like, that's fucking aliens.
Yeah.
The comment section's open. I want to hear those stories. Maybe I'll do a short if enough people leave their experiences with aliens or with encounters that they thought could be aliens or something such as that.
Yes. Hit us up.
Yeah, hit us up for sure.
Convince me.
Your goal is to convince Bill that aliens exist. So give us your firsthand knowledge, not your secondhand knowledge like this
I knew a guy, Roy.
Right. If you were probed by aliens like Randy Quaid, let me know. The comment section's always open. I'm on X, formerly known as Twitter, at the handle @BreakTheBellPod. You can hit me up there, or you can hit us up on our Facebook forum, which is the Breaking the Bell Forum, just to have the conversation, because I want to know from you.
Yes.
If you think the shit's real, or if you think that this is covering something up, let us know all that stuff. Like, subscribe, share, all that stuff we tell you to do all over the social medias, because we do this for you and
Absolutely.
for us.
Yeah.
And for you. Mostly for us, but and for you,
but also
too.
you.
So share it far and wide, because somebody else might want to be in on this weird, crazy conversation, too.
Yes,
so
they should be.
They should
Everybody
be.
should be.
Go to our website, buy our stuff at breakthebellpod.com. Otherwise, that's all I got. You got anything else? Any final thoughts on the aliens?
Resist.
Resist, reduce, reuse, resist, recycle. That's all I got. Be back here next Monday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We are live. If you're listening to us in the future in podcast land or on YouTube, we do this live where you can join in on the fun. Like Sue and Derek join in and
we
comment.
love having as much participation
We
as
do.
possible.
We do, because we don't know anything and we don't expect you to know anything. So we should just combine our lack of knowledge together and maybe come up with some...
I thought we had made a connection there, that maybe Derek was like in the sheriff's department when you in 91, but obviously that's
Derek
not true.
was 3 at the time.
Unless there was a time paradox.
Oh, Victoria Nunez and Adolf Hitler in their time machine.
Yes.
That was probably it. On that note, we got to get out of here.
Right.
Have a great rest of your week. We'll catch you next time.
Peace, unless they're aliens.
Goodbye.
The Break the Bell podcast is brought to you by you. So pat yourself on the back, because without you, we would be talking to ourselves. A special thanks to our Patreon members, Justin Zielinski, Remzo Martinez, Stephanie Parker, and T.O. Jacobson. A shout out to our sponsors, Run Your Mouth Coffee, the On the Run podcast, and Goulash Media. If you'd like to help support us, visit patreon.com/breakthebell or buy our garbage at breakthebell.bigcartel.com. Get back here next week and let us continue to invade your ear holes. And as always, never stop talking.